So we are recording. Okay, screen sharing. And again, this is my first time doing this. I have practiced one time, so it should work. All right. All right, can everybody see my screen at this point? If you can, I just need somebody to type in yes, if you can. Okay. Awesome, thank you guys. Okay, so what I have on the screen right now is our fall winter schedule. And I sent one out within the last couple weeks. I think I've sent it out a couple times. This past weekend, Entryeeze did send me some changes. There's some of these numbers of weeks is actually less than the Thursday and Friday specifically than we originally had. So that will be reflected in the second page here in dates not included in contract and no skating. Halloween, Thanksgiving, those 4 days, Christmas break. We are coming back on Saturday, the 5th of January. That's the end of Christmas break. And then all of these other dates that you'll want to keep track of. And we'll send reminders as we go through the season as to when things go over to Howe. There's a whole section here, skating at Howe Arena. These are besides Saturdays. Saturdays are all at Howe, but some of these dates are also at Howe. And Entryeeze will let me know if those will actually remain at Entryeeze, which we always prefer. Some of these dates will actually go back to Entryeeze, but for planning purposes for them, they wanted us to plan on going over to Howe. Okay, so the schedule is here. I will send this back out for you all to look at. The days and times of everything that was sent out a couple weeks ago has not changed. So that, as far as that goes, nothing is different. It's just the number of weeks. Note the Saturday doesn't start until October 6th. Not too many changes here as far as open sessions, mid sessions. You have to have passed the pre-preliminary through senior, and actually that should be moves in the field. Skating skills class, that used to be our power. We're going to try to mix it up this year. We're going to do some jumps and some spins and power and edges, and maybe even throw in some dance in there, and maybe just some skating tricks beyond the traditional jumps and spins. It's for the kids to kind of learn and play with. High-low production, if you have questions as to what that's going to entail, I would email Heidi. She'll have more information on that. Synchro is separate with registration and contract, so that's not on here, but everybody that's doing synchro should already have gone through that. Christmas exhibition is December 8th, 5:30 to 8. The 50-50 raffle will be at the ice show. The ice show is March 8th and 9th. And the skate-a-thon, we still are working on the dates. And a lot of this I will answer as well as we go in to the Entryeeze portion of it. So, all right, let's do that now then. So I'll close this. That and okay. I think I'm gonna just check that I'm still logged into Natalie's account. Okay. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go back to the main page. Okay. So on this first Entryeeze page for the club, we'll have just basic announcements. There's really not much, there's basically your fall schedule, some instructions on how to register, the pre-fall schedule, which is basically just September 4th through 11th. And then our club manual is on here as well that kind of explains all the rules and expectations from coaches, skaters, parents, membership requirements. There's a lot of information on there that we hope you take a look at. And I am going to, so you're going to access your account. I'm going to actually go this way because it's the way that I can get into my account. Okay, so I'm going to register. I'm going to go ahead and log into Natalie's account. And if you have problems logging into your account, if you don't remember passwords or anything, you can email me and I can look up your account and get you in. That's not a problem. Okay, so this is what your page should look like. One of the first things that you'll need to do, and you won't be able to register for ICE this fall, which I will be turning on once this meeting is over. I will turn on the registration for fall. But you won't be able to buy ICE unless you renew or apply for your club membership. Most of you have done that, but not everybody has. So you'll go here, apply renew, and you'll select which membership. Most of you will be this individual membership. And then you'll hit renew, at which point, for that to go through, before you can do anything else, you need to go from this renewal to your cart and check out and pay the renewal. If you don't do that, you won't be able to access the rest of the contract ICE and the merchandise. So without this membership renewal actually paid for, you won't be able to access this. So that's got to be done first. Once you do that, then you can come back here. Once it's paid for, you come back and then you can access the rest. Now, I'm going to kind of go down the line here. There's this button, My Calendar. Now this will show you, if you ever have questions about what you're registered for or what times, or is there skating today, this is a great place to look those up. So these are flagged. These were times that my daughter was signed up. I click on it and it shows her name, the time. These are the things that we had registered for. She's currently not registered for any other times right now, but I can go back and see all these other times. So that's one way, and if there's no ICE scheduled, there won't be anything there, okay, that you didn't purchase. So that's a really useful tool, I think. You can look up your volunteer hours, where you stand at this point in the year. Remember that we do have 24 hours required. And yeah, so you check your volunteer hours there. If you'd like to make a donation, we certainly won't ever turn that down. Or if you know somebody that wants to, that's something you can use. The test session registration, we're not set up for that quite yet, and we can discuss that at another time when we get there. A couple of the things in merchandise, so available merchandise. If you have not purchased, besides the club renewal, so this apply renew over here that we talked about earlier is specifically for the club. You have a second membership that's required of you, and that's US Figure Skating. That's the governing body that we operate under as a club and as members, and that's US Figure Skating memberships. So what you'll do here is we have a first year. So if it's your first time becoming a US figure skating membership, you use this one. If it's not, if you've already been a USFS member and you're renewing, you click on this one and you add it to your cart. You select which member. For us, there's 4 of us, so we would select Natalie and add to the cart. And then if there's more than one of you in the family that are buying USFS memberships, do that one first and then do that one second for the second member. So you'd select the second member here. If you are a member of the high school team, you will pay for the high school team dues here in merchandise. So merchandise, available merchandise, and here's the high school team. So again, you'll click on high school team. You'll select the member and you'll click add to cart. If your skater is going to use a locker in the locker room, same in merchandise, you will need to go select your member, add to the cart the locker fee. Okay. And there will be other things throughout the year that we will be adding onto here as we go, and we'll notify people of that. The raffle tickets will be on here, should be on here. I will put that on here right as soon as I'm done with the presentation and get that set up. But the raffle tickets is a requirement for each member or each family, and then that'll be on there, so you have to put that in your cart as well. So moving on from here, we're going to go to Contract Ice, Browse and Purchase. This is where you're going to find the sessions that will be available to you. Now, right now it's not, because I've turned it on so we don't see them. So actually give me a moment. I'm going to turn my screen off. I'm actually going to turn them on for a second, not so we can go purchase anything, but just so we can look. And then I'm going to turn them off again. So just chat amongst yourselves for a moment. And I will be right back. It's going to take me a few seconds here to turn that on. And then we'll be able to see it. Okay, almost there. And so you should be able to see my screen again. And now I'm going to go to this Contract Ice, Browse and Purchase, and here everything shows up. So ignore this spring summer production. That's still on here because there are still some payments that need to be made, and if I close this out, then those payments won't show up for people in their cart. So here are the skills class and the production ensembles. If you want to do either of those or both, here they are. So the skating skills, the high-low production ensemble. Now you can either pay the full price all in one, or you can do installment payments. And the first installment payment is 16%, and the remaining installments are 14%. And I think it's 7 total payments. I will not add that to my cart, but you would add it to your cart. Once you select the type of payment, you add it to your cart, and then you go back to look at the winter session, and this will be all here as well. And here are same thing. So you can pay for the whole thing right away, or you can do first installment payment. And then pick which sessions you'd like, add them to the cart, and you will be registered for that ice time once you make the first payment. If you don't make that first payment, then until that payment is registered, either if you pay it with credit card or if you bring in a payment to the office, you won't actually be on that ice time. So I know some of these sessions are going to be highly sought after, some of the ones right before synchro and such. So, you know, if you're intending on paying with a check, it won't be, you won't be locked into that session until it's actually paid for. And thus there are limitations to, there are limits to the numbers that we allow on the ice. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the screen again. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these off for a moment, and I will be right back. So I hope this is all making sense so far. And okay, so now, almost back. 1 second. Okay. So a few things. Sorry, 1 second. I'm looking at the text here for one of the members. All right, so we talked about buying the ice time. So let's talk about the installment payments. So my screen should be back on. And if you chose installment payments, here's where you're going to find what installments you owe. So you click on installments, you select your name, and there are no installments right now because I haven't purchased any ice time. But once there are, you will have options of adding to your cart installment number 2, installment number 3, installment number 4. You can add as many as you'd like, but you'll have one of those options for each session that you purchased. So you can't just do one. You'll have to pick each session that you picked as an installment payment. And you'll have to do this every month. So you put them into your cart. If you're paying with a credit card, you go to your cart, you continue checkout. Well, looks like I owe some money. And then here's where I pay with card, submit payment. If I am paying with a check, I can't continue the checkout. But this page, your cart, will tell you what you owe. Because I'm paying with a card, I'm gonna have, sorry, no, I'm jumping. In my cart, I am gonna have a little bit of a fee because I'm paying with a credit card. There's an admin fee here, convenience fee. But if I'm paying with a check, I'm not paying that, okay? So I can just pay this number. We are not able to take partial payments of something that's in a cart. So if your cart is set at $100 and Patty gets a check for $80, she's not able to use it. It can't go into this system. This payment system doesn't work that way. It's not going to be able to calculate that there's still a remaining $20 balance. And there's no way for us to input that. So one of the things, so yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the chat. As if you're going to bring in a check, please put everything into your cart so that when Patty has your check in hand, she goes to your account to make that payment, it matches. So we don't want Patty to have to go in and try to find the items in the installment payments under your account and then add them to the cart, or a merchandise item and add it to your cart. We really want her to be able to take that check, go to your account, and apply the payment to what is actually in the cart, so that she does not have to search in the account to try to find what those numbers were. It does happen often where we're not able to match that number and we can't take the check. And so at this point, if it's not in the cart, we're not going to accept the check. So please, when you bring a check in for payment, have everything in your cart, have your cart ready to go. And here's the payment, and boom, she can have it done within. That'll be really helpful. Yes, and payments are due on the 1st. Club rules say that skaters will not be allowed on the ice. I believe it's if they have a payment that's 10 days overdue, or it might be 15, but it's in the manual. So we really are encouraging everyone to try to stay on their monthly payments. We'll do the best we can to remind everyone every month, but it's the 1st of the month. 1st of the month, installment payments need to get into the cart, and a check matching that number to Patty or paid with credit card. Beyond that, I think that takes us through much of the Entryeeze. Let me hold on 1 second. Let me see what else I had here. Yeah, I think that is what I have for Entryeeze. Give me about 2 minutes. I need to get Jen Palomara onto our presentation because she's going to continue on with some of the club rules and Safesport, and she's having some difficulties. So I'm going to mute myself. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves or take a quick break, but I will be right back, hopefully with Jen Palomara.
This conference will now be recorded.
And
all right, well, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties on my end. I really thought we had it. I'm Jen Palomara. I'm the Safesport.
we want to see the picture of the queen, though. You got to start
Well,
over.
you start from the beginning. There we go. Go to meeting, screen sharing. Okay, let's hide that. Now I don't have my panel to move my screens forward. I can push buttons, and I will.
That's all you need.
So here it is. This is U.S. Figure Skating Safesport. And you're going to hear me say it all over again, and I'll blow through it real quickly. But the point is that we will have zero tolerance for abuse and harassment, and our little athletes should be safe to just do their sport and not have to endure any kind of emotional, physical, or sexual misconduct. And I am your presenter, Jen Palomara. If you've seen me around the rink, I look just like this. Nope, that is the queen, and we only share hair color. That's me. And that's Mary, my daughter, and the reason I'm doing this. And that's John Westerheis's parents in the background. But anyway, she's reason number one, and here's several other reasons that I take my job as Safesport chair very seriously. All of our lovely little athletes need to be protected. U.S. Figure Skating developed policies starting in 2000 with Rule 103, essentially mandating report of suspected abuse. and indicating in a written statement that it wouldn't tolerate or condone harassment or misconduct. That has all since been beefed up with the very public incidents of late of abuse in sports. Congress designated the U.S. Center for Safe Sport through the Protecting Young Victims from Sexual Abuse and Safe Sport Authorization Act of 2017. And this not-for-profit organization covers response and resolution, as well as education and training for all the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic movements, and we fall under that umbrella. Part of the education I'll have links to later in the presentation, but with U.S. Safe Sport on board, USFS beefed up their policies prohibiting abuse and misconduct, not just not condoning it. They added in monitoring and supervising of the Safe Sport program. There's education links that I have later in the presentation. They require mandatory background checks now for most of the people involved in the program, including those of us on the board, coaches, anybody that is going to have one-on-one contact with the athletes. And they have beefed up their reporting and responding to reports. Here's reasons 13 through 50 why we are going to take our jobs very seriously, because we have a lot of little athletes to take care of. Instead of just understanding how to report it and that we're responsible for reporting it, I believe that we should be focusing on preventing it. There's lots of education that's available. I've got links at the end of the presentation. This presentation will end up on our website, so you can get those at any time. I've also printed off some of the handbooks from those presentations, and they will be in the office in true Palomera fashion. They're in a purple glitter binder. And supervision is going to be the other element that's going to keep our kids safe. So there's Safe Sport specific training and criminal background checks that all of our coaches, all of our managers, including First Synchro, and those of us who went as managers to the Nationals this past month, our team physicians, all of our board members will be required to take Safe Sport training and have criminal background checks, our Learn to Skate instructors. And among the offices that are covered by Safe Sport, figure skating is one of the few that publicly lists the band members. So you can go to the website and look at the list of band members to make sure that your child's not coming in contact with somebody who is not safe for them to be with. Supervision of the minor athletes. I pulled out a few key points. There are lots of points, but the way it'll affect us most is with our coaches. They're recommending 2 deep leadership. So if you are with an individual skater as opposed to a group, you should have 2 adults at all times. Individual meetings should be in a public or observable place. Obviously, privacy is desired at times, but there should be a way for the meeting to be interrupted and to be viewed. There's more on locker rooms to come, but that's where the biggest day-to-day changes for us have to be Safe Sport compliant to be in the locker room. The travel policy has been beefed up. Coaches are not able to share a hotel room or any sleeping arrangements with a minor athlete. A minor is anybody under 18, unless the coach is the parent, legal guardian, or the sibling of the athlete. There's also more to come on social media. Coaches, managers can have direct contact with athletes, but the contact has to be non-personal. So here's when lesson is, here's where lesson is, and transparent Other people need to be able to see it, and parents of minor athletes should be involved. So texting should include the athlete and the parent. It takes a lot for our little cherubs to end up looking like these princesses and villains, and so this is direct contact, and mostly that happens in the locker room. And for our club, we already have almost 10 Safesport compliant chaperones. Those are the only chaperones allowed in the locker room, unless you have a skater who's under 11, and then a same-sex parent can be in the locker room, but only when that child is in the locker room, which makes sense, but it's spelled out now. The other big change is that recording and taking photographs in the locker room are strictly prohibited. We're actually a little behind the times. Hockey's been doing this since Dominic started skating, which was 8 years ago, and phones aren't even allowed in the locker room. So there's more information on the locker room policy and other policies is available at the usfigureskating.org/safesport page, so that you know what the members went through to get their background checks and their Safesport training. Again, this will be on the web page. If you want to get your Safesport training done and your background check done, which is about $20, the training's free, you can go to the US Figure Skating website. If you're a member, you can go straight through. You just click, click, click. If you're not a member, you can go to the non-member section and create a link and get your training, even though you're not a member. Before they made that available, all of us had to become members. So with the onset of Rule 103, they determined it was everybody's responsibility to report any reasonable suspicion of misconduct in any way. Again, this will be on our webpage. You can tell me, you can tell Laurent, we're going to direct you how to report if you suspect something is going on. To protect that skater, you need to make a report. It takes a village. We need to protect these kids. And this is how we'll do it, is by all of us taking responsibility. Just so we're clear, I've included the definitions of misconduct. I can read through them, or I can let you read them at your leisure. But this is what Safesport deems to be the definition, and if any of these circumstances arise, this is what will be reported and investigated. In addition to physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, bullying and threats are included. And bullying includes cyberbullying, and there's more specifics to come on that in the next slide. But USFS and Center for Safe Sport recommended that we update our code of conduct to include consequences related to misconduct in these areas. I thought for practical reasons, we should take a minute to discuss the difference between mean, rude, and bullying. I've had this conversation with many kids. It doesn't feel good when somebody's being mean, being rude, or bullying, but there's a difference. And essentially it has to do with intentionality and frequency. So mean, saying or doing something purposely to hurt someone, but infrequently. Rude is saying or doing something to hurt someone unintentionally and infrequently. And bullying is intentionally, aggressively, and repeatedly doing things to hurt, humiliate, or intimidate. And a power differential exists. And bullying can wreck a kid's life. I know, I spend all day working with kids who've been traumatized, and bullying factors in more days than not for me. Mean and rude aren't reportable offenses covered by Safesport, but they are offenses covered by our code of conduct. On the recommendation of USFS and Safesport, we have updated our codes of conduct. They are in the bylaws. They'll be, obviously here in this presentation. Some of them are very common sense. We're not going to tolerate disorderly conduct or illegal drugs or drinking if you're underage. We've beefed up the policy on harassment and bullying, including cyberbullying and definitions of, so that those can be very clear. What we're talking about is the use of technology or electronic communication to bully. And that's more prevalent than we would hope. Infractions are in place now for reported offenses. Once the offense is brought to the board, the disciplinary committee will investigate as quickly as possible, as thoroughly as possible, and infractions will be recorded and kept in the member. And then there's consequences for infractions. The consequences will be commensurate with the infraction. But if there's repeated offenses or flagrant offenses, consequences can be as extreme as termination from the club. Again, the goal is not to lose any of our skaters. It's to make skating safe for everyone. It's hard enough to do what they're trying to do. Negotiating it all in the context of also being bullied or harassed is more than we should ever settle for. There's a parent code of conduct that's also been revised somewhat. Most of it common sense. Read and follow the rules. Be a good sport. PE5, the Parent Code of Conduct Rule 5, no coaching at the boards. This is going to be more strongly enforced. Parents are encouraged to be there and watch their skaters. Again, our skaters are working really hard on difficult things, and to be there with them is great. To coach them at the boards is counterproductive. It doesn't allow them their time with their coach to learn what they're doing, and to be their own skater. It puts the focus on you. So we're reminding everybody of that. Obviously, we want to cut down on negative talk, so that grievances can be more productively handled. A reminder that treating your child with respect is not only the moral thing to do for your child and their development, but reflects on you, your child, the club, and it's noticed. So give them the respect they deserve. The disciplinary committee is our club director, Laurent, myself, and John Westerheis, one of the board members. I don't think we put in place how long the committee will be in place or what we'll do about replacing members or adding members, but we will. I will bring that up at the next board meeting to make sure that's understood. My little portion of our presentation is over. Look how happy everybody is. Yay, it's over. And I'm happy to stay on and take questions. I know we're nearing 9 o'clock. Or you can email questions to me directly. My personal email, which is jpalomera@yahoo.com. If you could put Safesport question or Safesport issue or Safesport in the subject, that would be great. Like everybody, I get a lot of emails. And as promised, I just added in the members only section from usfs.org so that you can see the list of educational materials that are available to you for Safesport matters, including, parent toolkits and talking to your kids about all of this. It's not an easy thing to do. They do have a nice approach about it. I printed off the complete parent toolkit, and it's in the glitter binder in the office.
All
So I
right.
don't know if your mic's on right now or if there's any questions, but I'm happy to field any.
Yep, and I'm back on too. Yeah, after we're done here, I will go ahead and turn on the Entryeeze registration. Thank you, Jen. That was really great. Sorry
Okay.
that it took minutes to get that going.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, if anybody has questions, let us know. Or if they like mention.
Hey, Jen,
Yeah.
this is John Westerheis. Well done,
Mhm.
well presented. That was very nice. Thank you, and clarified a lot and opened up eyes as to the extreme nature of this and one that can't be just looked over and passed over. So thank you for sharing. Is it possible to send email out those slides just for our own edification?
It is possible to email them, but they're on the they'll be on the website, right, Laurent?
Yeah, this whole presentation is going to be on the website. We've recorded it, and I'm gonna, within the next day, have it up on the website.
But will it be only viewable, or can you to print off, I guess is where I was going. So if you can print it from the slide presentation, then that's fine. So that'll work. Thank you.
Let
don't
me,
from like an MP4, like a movie that you'll be able to watch, kind of type thing. So if you want the individual slides, then that would be something, Jen, that you'd probably want to email.
well, I am just now trying to see if I can, do you want me to take out the picture of Queen Elizabeth? Or is that what you're looking for, right?
Who isn't?
So yeah, I'm seeing right now if my computer will turn it into a PDF, and if so, then I can forward it.
Well, you can just send it as a PowerPoint.
And we can put the PDF like that on the website too.
Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. That'll fine.
Jen, so if you want to forward me that PDF, I can publish it on the website too.
Okay.
So, all right, and Jen, we can still see your screen, so don't share any passwords.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at that. That's why I left publishing up there. Thank you.
All right, anybody else with any questions? Okay, well, yeah, thank you guys very much. Thank you, John, and thank you, Jen. And
Yep.
all right, we will probably have another meeting like this when it comes closer time to ice show registration, because I know there's always a lot to go over there, and I think this is a nice, easy way to handle some of that information getting dispersed. So, but we'll discuss that, and I think we'll probably be doing some more of these for some of the big things that need to be shared.
Okay.
Thank you all, and